I know you want a break, so I'll be very short and let's go fast. So this project is a project of the Occitanie Water Challenge, like other projects you have seen here. And this was about the use, the decentralized system to use actually raw water using very simple filtration systems. And the idea was, how can we optimize such, evaluate and optimize such filtration systems for a, let's say, a number of reuses, usage, let's say, and possibly keep water nutrients into the water. Actually, the project was expecting to work on 4 different aspects. One related to the micropollutants, another one about the optimization of fouling with highly loaded waters, a number of studies related to the regulatory analysis and the evaluation of such treatment system, notably with respect to grey water. And actually, I will present essentially what is related to the management of fouling and the evaluation of, let's say, some results about the life cycle assessments. So I go through this because we have just seen with the last presentation the advantages of decentralized system. So I go through. This is just, let's say, something related to the context. I just present the experimental setup, but I will not go through because we already saw these slides also. This is the experimental water reuse site in Montpellier, Murviel-les-Montpellier actually. And we made all the experiments with a number of boxes with containers in order to be clear with the regulations and so on. We tested a number of, what happens there? We tested a number of membrane system which were very simple, does not work. We will not go back through that, but it was microfiltration, a number of microfiltration systems. So the first results I want to show you is the development of an optimization tool in order to manage membrane filtration systems. It is very generic in the sense that we can either maximize the volume of water treated over a given period of time, but we can also minimize the energy required to treat a given volume of waters. And to do so, we only need the measurements either of the fluxes or of the transmembrane pressure of the system. So we developed actually a system in order to deal with these problems with membrane fouling. What I should have said before is that to deal with this problem, there are many people working on the material, working with the design of the systems, with the material, with the membrane, and so on. We actually work with the actual system, and what we improve is the management of the system in terms of filtration and cleaning, either by backwashing the system or just relaxation. And what we are looking for is the optimal value of the filtration system. Let me go through this because we don't care. It doesn't work. Yes, it works. And just relying on the available measurements about the typically transmembrane pressure or fluxes, we are able to characterize the optimal ratio between the filtration time and the backwash time. This is done numerically, and this is an example of what we obtain. over the x-axis, you have the volume, which is you have the time, sorry, and on the y-axis you have the typically an index related to the fouling of the membrane. If the fouling is too much, then you must backwash the system. If you can filter, then it's in red. You can filter, and the green light is the optimal ratio between filtration and backwash. And it means that there exists, given some characteristics of the membrane, of the flux and so on, we are able to characterize this optimal value of the ratio between the filtration and the backwash, whatever the system is actually. We have compared this optimal approach with other classical industrial methods, which are temporal modes. So it means that based on the knowledge of the designer of the membrane, they tell you, okay, you filter 10 minutes and then you backwash 2 minutes, and you do that. But actually, with our approach, we showed that you can win up to 30% of energy in applying the optimal ratio between filtration and backwash. Okay, the second results we got is about the reuse of gray waters. These reuse must be seen as a function of the scale at which you will reuse this water. There are two different problems there. The first problem is the scale at which you will recycle the water. It means the scale at where you install the decentralized system, either at the scale of the house or either at the scale of a neighbor. So it means depending on the scale at which you look at the city. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when studying that, we use modeling in order to model this scale at which you want to reuse this water. And this was made using a software that was developed by our colleagues from Toulouse, which is called Muse. And it helps you to find let's say, not to find the best, but to model the different cities, houses, and so on within a neighbor. Typically here, this was a neighbor of Toulouse. And then doing so, you can generate, depending on the scale at which you look at, you can generate the quality of the water, the quantity and the quality of the water, and then test a number of scenarios depending on where you put the system, either at the household scale or at the city scale. And depending on that, you can now make a number of analyses, typically here life cycle analysis, in order to know exactly, with respect to each scenario, where are the impacts in terms of energy, or in terms of all others, the 16 indexes of a life cycle assessments. Our main results showed, and then you can do that for each scenario and find on these scales of life cycle assessment, find for each scenario which are the most impacting on the energy, notably, and on the, let's say, all other parameters, actually. The main results are the following. I don't know if they are okay, they are related here. The main thing to have in mind is the following. When the system, the decentralized system, is put in such a way that at large scale, it means that Most of your impacts are given by the networks. It means that you must have lots of networks to go to the decentralized system and then go back to the house. While on the other extreme, you put systems in, let's say, every houses, and in this case, the most impacting index is the energy. So when you recycle at local scale, this is the energy which is impacting. But if you recycle at a larger scale, this is the network which impacts very much. So these are the main results we have. I have not shown other results about legal questions or the risk assessments, but of course you can contact us and then we can answer to your question. Thank you very much for your attention, and I would be pleased to answer any question during the break. Thank you.